Hey, this is Frank Yost and another edition of the Wheel Estate Cam with Inman. I was going to get in the car and do a video cam in the car, but then my 1-month-year-old fell asleep on my chest, and I couldn't just take him on. I never want to wake a sleeping baby, and I couldn't just grab him and take him in the car and pull a Britney Spears. So I figured I'd just do a video from here. Hope you don't mind. Just a little cuteness point close up. There we go. And that is because he was facing the other way, and that was a temporary line. Anyhow, so what I want to talk today about is market timing. Two different types of market timing specifically. One is timing the general market and whether now is the time to buy and the pitch that you use to clients. But secondly, I want to talk about market timing and picking neighborhoods. Up and coming neighborhoods, I love that phrase. So starting with the second one, up and coming neighborhoods. When I first started out, there was a client that really wanted to buy in this one area because he was told that it was up and coming. Didn't really believe in that stuff, but I was brand new and the guy wanted to buy a house, and who am I to stop him? Watch the video about fiduciary duty to talk about when it might be appropriate to stop someone. So he buys this house, and it's got 2 or 3 doors down. There's a car on cinder blocks, and a lot of the neighbors have a bunch of junk in the front yard, and it's a mile or two from the trendy part of town. And his thought was that the trendy part of town would start pushing out, and he'd buy it before this part of town got revitalized and cleaned up. So he tried to time the marketplace and live there during that time. And now that I have more experience and I've been in the business long enough, I can actually start reflecting back and be one of those agents that say, in all my years, this person, I drove by the house the other day, and that same car was on cinder blocks. Now I'm slightly exaggerating, but the neighborhood was exactly the same, hadn't changed. So I don't know, I just don't believe in this trying to pick up and coming neighborhoods so that the rate of appreciation of one property will be faster than another property. I just don't think it exists reliably. I mean, it's kind of like with stock markets; they always have to have this disclaimer that says past performance not indicative of future results. Just because one area does something doesn't mean it's going to continue doing that. So my philosophy has always been buy where you want to live. I've never thought that investment and home ownership should all be your number one and number one priority. I think it's more like number one for buying to live in and for life, and number four, maybe number five as an investment if that works out for you. But on top of buying as an investment, to try to pick a neighborhood thinking that it's going to get better, so then for 4 or 5 years you gotta just hope that the neighborhood gets better. Is it really worth it? Now, if you can't afford anything else, then that might be your only option. But if you're trying to do it because you think that one area is going to grow at 3% and this area is going to grow at 4, 5, 6%, really run the numbers and say, is it worth the amount of incremental growth that you expect, the percentage chance of that growth? So let's say it's a 6%, let's say you think it'll make an extra 2% per year for 5 years, so it'll make an extra 10% growth. But then what you do is you take the percentage chance that you actually think that that'll happen, say maybe a 30% chance. 30% chance that'll be 10% growth. In my mind, that's a 3% growth. So you've got to look at that $500,000 house and say, is it worth living here for $15,000? For $15,000 more potential profit. I don't think it is worth it. But that's obviously up to the client to decide. I don't believe in picking certain areas. So I like to hear from other realtors. Have you had success with that? Do you really know that this mall's coming in and it's gonna really skyrocket this area versus another area? Or even in McLean, Virginia, there was a metro coming into this one area near the gates of McLean, and that was supposed to make that area skyrocket. But for the most part, everyone already knew that the metro was coming in, so the prices were already inflated. So maybe if you have insider knowledge, and I don't even know if that's illegal, like stock market trading, if you have insider knowledge about a certain metro coming that isn't public, maybe you might be able to get a little bit of a gain. But if everyone knows that there's already going to be a $1 billion revitalization of a neighborhood, If that information's already out there, then it's probably too late. But I stand to be corrected. I can be corrected. Please give me some examples of someone who, one area went up, 2 and 3%, but you advised the client to go to another area and it went up 10%. Love to hear about that. And then secondly, I probably have talked about this previously, market timing in general. Is now the time to buy? Now it's gone, the market has really gone down, so no better place, no better time to buy than right now. I don't believe in that either. There is just as much information out there that says that the market will go down as there is information that it'll go up. There's tons of talk about banks holding on to shadow inventory, banks not foreclosing on homes for 11 or 12 months and just allowing the people to stay in there. Well, soon that stuff is going to catch up. So there's a decent possibility that the market can go down. And so I don't believe in market timing or even telling a client that now's the time to buy, because they shouldn't believe you. They're not going to believe you, and that shouldn't be the purpose of buying, to try to time the market. Because one of my favorite sayings, I don't know who said it, is that there's no bell at the bottom of the market. So instead, just buy where you want to live, when you're ready to live, and I think that's the best approach to take. But that's my personal philosophy. Everyone's got a different approach. I'd love to hear yours. If you disagree, have a little discussion on Inman. Also, retweet it with at Frankly Realty, so I know that you've retweeted it, so your friends could watch it or appreciate it. You can follow me on at Frankly Realty, or my blog.franklyrealty.com. And get one last few cute points. Look at that quivering chin. All right, catch you later.